Given the opportunity, we'll try to maximize our interest the way we want. This is what we do. It's true. It's true. Nothing to be ashamed about it. Right? If somebody says, "Wait, this is the question paper for prelims," right? Will you bring all your ethical issues there? So the moment you get the opportunity, you'll say it's okay, right? Ethics जो पढ़ा था वो class के लिए था. That was only for the exam, not for this. Logical. So that is the idea that people are rational economic beings. Nothing wrong in that. We all want to maximize, and that is why we tend to become creative. That is why we are looking for comfort, right? That is why we are looking for material growth. Otherwise, हम कुछ करते ही नहीं. Right? So if we start listening to Babas, we'll say nothing to be done. Finish. पहले ही जाके जो है कब पे लेट जाओ, कोई बात नहीं, वहीं आना है ना? तो अगर हम ऐसा सोचने लगे तो how will you drive inventions? How will you drive creativity? How will you maximize the urge to do something extraordinary? You'll never do that. So capitalism जो है उसको drive करता है. Adam Smith was one of the first people who contributed to this idea that people want to maximize. See? So they have used the same logic. They believe that employees, people who work in organizations, why they are working in the organization? Do we need to understand them? Do we need to study them? They said no. Let us design the best organization. People will come into the organization and they will behave and act the way we have designed the organization. They will not ask for anything more except money. See, that is their assumption. They believe that people are driven purely by money and monetary interest. Nothing else motivates them. As an organization, we are not obligated to provide them anything else. Okay, this is the idea of Homo economicus. Okay, it is also called as, there is another scholar, Ricardo. See, UPSC ने सिर्फ इसी पे क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया एक बार. Not on Ricardo. Ricardo basically comes from economics, right? But the UPSC has asked question on this idea, right? Ricardo is a scholar. Ricardo is associated with something called Rabel hypothesis. Sorry. Rabel hypothesis that how do you distinguish between a group of or a herd of sheep, right, and a pack of wolves? How will you distinguish between them? Obviously, you can see them and distinguish. What about their nature? The sheep will go in a line, right? They will not trample upon each other's feet. They will try to walk properly, giving place to others also. What is this behavior? Civilized, accommodative, right? Allowing for others also to have some space. When you see the wolves, what do? See, they're all attacking on one prey. Once they have killed it, all of them want to eat from that, and all of them are biting as much as they can, right? Hostel में the way we are eating food. जिसके हाथ में ज्यादा आ गया वो उसका. That is how the wolves attack. So this Rabel hypothesis says कि what is mankind? What is humankind? What are they? So Rabel hypothesis says that humankind is It's a horde of self-interested. Right? Self-interested. Self-interested, material-seeking, right? Self-interested, material-seeking, anarchic individuals. Why they are saying this? That they are not saying exactly that people are animals. They are saying that people are driven by desire for individual interest, nothing else. So the moment they face a problem or situation where they have to choose between their interest and others' interest, they will choose their interest, not others' interest. So they're saying we are a race of people, right, who are working just like wolves to maximize our own interest. Now imagine if I use this logic and I develop an organization. What will be my view regarding my employees or regarding human resource? That all of them are coming just to maximize their interest. So can I use this idea to manipulate them, to control them, to regulate them? Can I use this? How? Use of money, use of wages, use of salary, use of comfort. Khatam. Material needs, create the greed, fulfill the greed, right? We can drive, we can influence their behavior. See? So these scholars collectively believed, right, that people are driven purely by this interest, and that is what the organization must give, nothing else. Emotions, emotional support चाहिए नहीं, psychological support चाहिए नहीं. Are they seeking something extraordinary? No. Do they need non-material benefits? No. Are they seeking respect? No. So, see, these people believe that between respect and money, they will choose money. Fine. So, if the government makes you work for like a dog for many years, and then it says, Kisi, we are not paying you, right? But we'll give you a lot of self-respect. Your esteem, your identity will be established. And if, because Sanjay Dutt has said, so we'll give you Jadoo Ki Jhappi also, as per Munna Bhai. So now, after all these things that we have given you, right, we want you to become our loyal employee. So if government says you're selected for IAS, but you will not get salary, what will you do? You'll quit. But you have a lot of opportunity for corruption. Why will you quit?
Corruption mostly our right. कहीं ना कहीं हमसे पनिश हो सकते हैं.
But
salary will be our right.
अपने जूनियर को फोर्स कर सकते हैं करप्शन के लिए और खुद वेट कर सकते हैं कि लाओ भी. See, you write logically. Something which does not come as part of the standard job may not be acceptable to us. That means when you say public service is the motive, civil service is the motive, society is the motive, it is not the motive. Or it is not the only motive. A job or a profession must satisfy survival needs also. So ये क्या बोल रहे कि भाई जो people है, they are just looking people at that level only, that everybody has survival instinct, everybody wants to maximize his benefit. We don't, or we are not concerned about anything else. So see, they designed the entire organization considering this idea that people will enter the organization, they will follow each and every rule, they will be punished by us, whatever we want we can do, just because these people are greedy, they are self-interested, and if we provide that benefit, they will do anything for the organization. So their assumption was that people's primary motivation is money. If organization gives money or benefits, people will be loyal and committed to the organization. That becomes one principle. So they come with this one universal principle that people are driven by money. Every corporate you see today also, it has the same logic. Every time you want to leave the organization, they will increase your salary. Right? They never want to know that why you want to leave the organization. No. So see, purpose of you leaving your organization was dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction because your organization is unethical. When you go and convey this to the organization says, okay, we are increasing your salary by 20%. Right? That very moment, right? Everything that was unethical becomes ethical. तो ये तो बहुत illogical है भाई. Your problem was something else. Right? Now they have given the solution, something else. But still you feel that solution is quite correct. This is how we think. So they understood this idea and they said, see, people are like this. So what we can do? We can design the organization. So they developed the design. They focused on creating things in a standard, rigid manner, and they did not take into consideration the variations of human psychology, human emotion, human behavior. They did not consider it. They said human beings have one unidimensional behavior. What is it? Driven by money. Simple. Anything else they want, they can go outside and fulfill it. Organization will not provide it. So you see, traditional organizations were much more exploitative than today's. Today, at least they think about so many things. Today, models of organizations have changed. They have started viewing people as human resource. Earlier, they were viewing them as employee. Employee is one who works for you. Human resource is one who is an asset for you. See, civil services, treated as employees, now treated as human resource. So this model or this assumption becomes a fundamental assumption in understanding human being under this approach. So these people or these scholars who came in this era, right, they became popular as structural scholars. So when you see the theories which or those whatever content which was developed here, that came to be called as classical structural content. See? Emergence of, where you're writing, just below that you can write. Emergence of classical structural. See what we had written here. This was just an information, right? Our sequence is same, is going on. Emergence of classical structural emergence of classical, structural, traditional, rational. generic, universal. See, all the names are for the same knowledge that was developed. So classical knowledge, classical scholars. Structural knowledge, structural scholars. Right? Traditional knowledge, traditional scholars. Rational scholars, generic scholars. These scholars of universal principles. So जो भी emergence of classical, this. So why these scholars or the people who were involved in developing these principles, why they were called as classical? Because they were the starting ones. Why they were called as structural? Because they focused on design, arrangement, which is rigid. When you say structure, so you believe that there is a structure, universal structure for everything. That universal structure is the best structure. So if you want to design anything, they believe that there is one universal best design in the world, and that is what we are looking for. Once it is best, it is the most rational, most efficient system. So can we say that these people subsidiary? Why subsidiary? क्यों ये बताओ ना. See? Correct. But see, when you are looking at this, जो major premise है वो क्या है? What is the major basis? Within that, we can develop any other premise. Right? So if I say they were structural, you can understand these people were looking for a pattern, rigidity. वो synonyms है उसकी, right? So you can say mechanistic. One word which can be used to substitute all this. So many times when you find this term, that paradigm 2 was about mechanistic model of organization. Why it was mechanistic? Machine type. Why machine type? No study of human being. No focus on human being. Focus on developing a system which was rigid and arranged. तो एक rigid structure कैसे बनेगा? Why it is rigid? If we say this is a remote, right? Why this remote was made in this manner? Why not some other design? By after due evaluation of its utility, everything has a utility, no? So what will be, when will the remote be useful? What will be the best use of, or what can be the best tool to be used as remote? When we started searching for it, then they would have searched for so many designs. Ultimately, they came at one design, right? That, okay, if they use this design, this structure, then ultimately our purpose is served in the best possible manner. It is handy, it can be carried, right? And likewise, whatever. Same way, when you're designing a television, designing a car, you're looking for what? The best structure. Fine? Same way, imagine you are designing an organization. What are you looking for? Best structure. How will you arrive at best structure? If you develop this in scientific manner. भाई साइंस से बेटर कुछ हो सकता है? नहीं हो सकता ना. So either you can be scientific, right, or you can be inefficient. There are only two possibilities. या तो आप scientific हैं या आप inefficient है. See, but if you are efficient, then you have to be scientific. So these scholars believed that if we are looking for one universal design, best design, then let us develop it and let us believe that this design is fixed. Now it should not change. So once we think this is how the building should be organized, This is how the flats should be made. This is how a building should look like. Once we have decided it, scientifically studied it, developed the knowledge, now whenever you design, you will follow only this design. See? Mechanistic. Mechanistic means they believe that organizations can be created as a machine. The machine which works in the most efficient manner, and it is designed in a particular way only. So car is a machine. And the best form, best arrangement is a scientific design. What is a scientific design? Which most of the car makers need to follow. See? But none of the car makers says that, okay, my car would be best performing with 3 wheels. There is no need of the 4th wheel. If tomorrow it becomes that 3 wheels are more economic, more efficient than 4 wheels, then tomorrow people will start designing that way. But there must be scientific proof of that. Same way they are saying that once we develop this knowledge, right, this knowledge will become universal, it will become permanent, and this will be used always to develop the organizations. So why it is mechanistic? Because it is like a machine. Once designed, it works. They are also not considering the role of living beings, that is, human beings. So this system, or understand this way, the organization minus so all these names, right? All the names that we have written, they all somewhere indicate.
The science is also evolving as scientific observations are there.
No, that is fine, but see, what about the era? You're talking about today's scenario, no? I'm talking about that era. When you say my grandfather was not literate, you're talking about him and the era in which only few were literate. Right? So we are referring to the era. तो उस era में जो बना वो permanent माना गया. Later on तो change होगा ही होगा. It is obvious. Right? तो ये तो obvious है कि भाई later तो change होगा, but we are not talking about today's reference, no? We are talking about that reference. Doubt क्या है? यही है. तो आप आज से क्यों कंपेयर कर रहे हो? भाई आप किसी चीज को एक पर्टिकुलर कॉन्टेक्स्ट में पढ़ रहे हो ना, यू आर स्टडीइंग इन अ पर्टिकुलर कॉन्टेक्स्ट. अरे तो हमें एक सेगमेंट की बात कर लेना, 27 to 37. राइट? चेंजेस का मतलब क्या है? साइंस थोड़ा ना चेंज हो रहा है. ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. वंस समथिंग इज डेवलप्ड एज साइंस, सो साइंटिफिक डेवलपमेंट्स हो सकते हैं. साइंस कैसे चेंज हो जाएगी? लॉज ऑफ मोशन चेंज हो जाएंगे, फिर प्रिंसिपल्स थोड़ा ना चेंज होंगे. Arrangement change हो सकता है. See, you're not getting the point. If my knowledge is developed, and I believe that my knowledge is based on science, or I develop it scientifically, so what I'm doing, I'm establishing a system. कल को knowledge और advance हो जाती है, right? Scientific development, like you said, right? Our understanding of science improves. Automatically, our understanding will change. But Taylor is not saying that. Fayol is not saying that. Fayol is saying that our model is the best model. And why they are saying it? Because we are studying that in their reference. When we will come later, obviously those scholars, Simon, yesterday also we said, why Simon is criticizing them. It is not scientific, ये तो fact है. Correct है. Right? So don't be bothered about that now. अभी क्या, अभी सिर्फ फोकस ये कि भाई क्यों वो साइंस था. Because these people studied facts. Whether those facts were absolute or not, we are not bothered about that. भाई अभी तो हम उसके बारे में कंसर्न नहीं है, तो हम स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं. We are just starting now. So ये साइंस है भी या नहीं है, ये जजमेंट हम अभी नहीं दे सकते. Are you getting my point? We are not going to give judgment right now. We are just simply discussing what was the scenario there. So what are, whether Gandhi did the partition wrong or not, अभी हम हिस्ट्री पढ़ रहे हैं कि पार्टीशन हुआ. फाइन. तो ओपिनियन एनालिसिस ये बात की बात है. ठीक है. तो अभी पहले हमें तो वही समझना जो है. सो इमेजिन दिस वे दैट whatever knowledge they developed, they were focusing it on developing it as a universal knowledge. This knowledge came to be known as, right, by different names as this. तो उसको mechanistic क्यों बोला गया? That they are not saying we are mechanistic. We are saying they were mechanistic. So the scholars who developed the content of PubAd, they have categorized them as mechanistic scholars. And what you are saying, you are contradicting your own idea. हम उसको mechanistic क्यों कह रहे हैं? क्योंकि जब हम later on खड़े होते हैं तो हमें लगता है कि हाँ इनका तो knowledge बहुत limited था. Their knowledge was not updated. That is why we are using this term. But try to understand them in their frame, not from our frame. So these scholars were called mechanistic, classical, traditional. That means certain good terms, certain bad terms. Right? They were also called efficient, efficiency seekers, universal design, structural. Structural क्यों बोला गया? They were obsessed with one structure. You understand what is a structure? क्या होता है? Have you studied sociology or Indian society? Not. Nobody. स्ट्रक्चर होता है जब कोई चीज फिक्स्ड हो. That is a structure. Something fixed. Now, it has multiple meanings. We can think of this as physical structure. We can think of this as analytical structure. This is abstract. Physical structure. For example, you are designing a building. So आप गए, right? Without any research or understanding, did you started designing the building? Then what did you do? How did you come at a particular design that this is good? किसी ने बताया होगा measure करना चाहिए. You must have known from somewhere, no, that you have to measure. Then how will you design now? You measured it then. करेक्ट. बट ठीक है, बट आपको कैसे पता चलेगा वो जरूरत ऐसे ही बेस्ट फुलफिल होगी? सी करेक्ट. बट हाउ विल यू नो कि भाई दिस टाइप ऑफ डिजाइन व्हिच इज विजिबल हियर इज बेस्ट फॉर माय रेजिडेंस? सी ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. देयर वुड बी सम नॉलेज. सिविल इंजीनियर्स हैं, आर्किटेक्ट्स हैं, वो कैसे बने? नॉलेज से बने. ये क्या बना रहे हैं? नॉलेज. You apply it and you will use it. See, structure exists at two levels. One here, acceptance. Marriage is a structure. Marriage का एक पैटर्न है कि नहीं है? Fine. तभी वो मैरिज माना जाएगा. Supreme Court, right, is not saying whether it is good or bad, but there is a standard structure design which has been socially accepted. ठीक है, उसको structure बोला जाता है. Anything that has evolved, it has evolved over a period of time, it has concretized into an idea, and this idea has been now converted into a physical system. That is called physical structure. तो when you are making a building, वो एक physical structure है, but वो physical structure कहाँ से शुरू हुआ? यहाँ से. Everything in the world is a structure, and that is why we follow a pattern. You come to your ORN, right? Then you join a class. Then you say, okay, first I should prepare my mains. Then I will prepare the prelims. Then I will do this. ये क्या है? Pattern. Pattern क्या है? Structure. So everything that you do is a structure. Some structures can be converted into physical forms. Some cannot be. Right? A mother-son relationship has a universal model. It should differ. If people are different, this relationship would be different. But see, it has a universal premise. So, globally or across the societies of the world, we have defined a structure. What is a structure? A pattern of mother-son relationship. अब इसको physical form में convert नहीं कर सकते. क्यों? क्योंकि ये abstract है, internal है, non-tangible है. Everything is a structure. But some structures are physical and some are analytical. So when you say organization is a structure, yes, we have to design things. We have to arrange them, right? But at the same time, how or what is the culture of my organization? What values my organization is driven by, right? Should I leave these values or should I continue with these values? ये क्या है? Analytical structure. So I am designing my organization with a different mindset, with a different value. That is my structure. That if I create a physical structure, same हो सकते हैं, right? लेकिन mental structures, values अलग-अलग हो सकते हैं. It is up to us. See, you enter some. You might have entered into the best institution of this country. You go to the best institutions of this country, you will find how they are right now. They will look highly old, dilapidated buildings, right? Old hostels, mess normal. You go to Amity school, what is that? You go to any other corporate type of college. The moment you'll enter, you'll say, oh, there are 10 type of menu for lunch. Students are taken to Europe on vacations. But जो बहुत extraordinary colleges हैं, वहाँ बच्चे scholarships पे हर जगह जा रहे हैं. But यहाँ पे बच्चे पैसा दे के हर जगह जा रहे हैं. Why? Nothing wrong. It is your preference. I'm simply saying. But you see, those structures are old, but they have a legacy. You are not going to Labasna because it is in Mussoorie, right? If it was in Mandwa, then also you would be going, or not? कि भाई लबासना पौंडीचेरी में तो मैं नहीं जाऊंगा, मुझे मसूरी जाना था. You are not going it for the place it is, or the system, or the building it is. You are going it for the value it is. See, structure also, analytical structure is a value. It doesn't matter to me whether I study in a hotel, right, or study in a bench in the park. What matters when I'm studying is the quality, the value that I get. Right? Obviously, I cannot be uncomfortable. Right? Obviously, I cannot stand and study. That is very logical. So there are some minimum requirements of the structure, and rest is more intangible always. You can read Lakshmi Kant's book. Right? There's a prelims book for PubAd. You can read that book 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, and you will get some content, no doubt. Average content, facts, info, you'll get it. And you will be able to write that also somehow, manipulate it. You're an intelligent person, you can manipulate it, write it in the answers. You might get 3, 4, 5 out of 10. Nothing wrong. and it is also a good strategy. But let us say that you are writing 2-3 mains, one after another. You want to improve your rank, right? A point of time will come when these questions you will not be able to understand. Why? Because the range, that book is written in a pattern, in a structure that it cannot evolve your brain. It can only give you information. Mohit Bhattacharya's book, 150 pages. You start reading the first line, right? It makes you think. Second line, you think more. Third line, you start thinking. One page, you'll take 1 hour. Lakshmikant, one page, 1 hour, 40 pages, you'll read. But no connectivity, only information, arranged, heading, subheading, सब कुछ है, right? लेकिन कोई essence है ही नहीं. You've seen in the dhaba, right? They make good food, dhabas on the highway. Very good food, right? And that is their USP. So unless they throw the food at you, right, you will not feel satisfied till then. If they start working like a hotel, you won't like it. उनका essence वो है कि भाई ऐसा ग्लास लाना चाहिए, है ना? They have to serve the food in that environment only, right? There should be some mud, some dirt, some gandagi. Then yes, hand pump should operate. So then we'll like it. That is their essence. Now in the dhaba, if you're looking for 5-star, so technically you're not coming to the dhaba, you're coming to the 5-star. तो एक एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशन 5-star होना चाहिए? नहीं, डजंट मैटर, बट उसकी एकेडमिक वैल्यू 5-star होनी चाहिए. यस, बट इफ यू आर गोइंग फॉर कंफर्ट, होटल, यस, hotel can be comfortable, no doubt. Also depends on utility. You are going to give the exam, you are not looking for 5-star hotel. You have qualified, you are going to join your academy, yes, you can go for 5-star, it doesn't matter. So structure क्या है? Structure एक pattern है. Pattern is mental as well as physical, both. So these people, they are called structuralists because they were in search for that pattern. The pattern which was based on scientific factual study. They said once we establish this pattern, because it is scientific, right, it will need not be changed. No need to change. क्योंकि साइंस पे बेस्ट स्ट्रक्चर डेवलप हो चुका है, अब चेंज करने की जरूरत क्या है? Understanding this idea? See? So structures are essential. किसी भी चीज को करने के लिए एक स्ट्रक्चर चाहिए, right? That structure can be absolute, that structure can be changing. As per the knowledge, it changes. But for time being, we are using it. वो तो structure ही होगा ना भाई. Correct. So, see, many scholars who came in this time frame, paradigm, they were driven by this idea. Passion for science. Scientific knowledge. Fact-based knowledge. Pattern, structure, design, right? तो उन्होंने क्या किया? वो एक universal design बनाने लगे. If organizations have to exist, if you have to do tasks through a system, then what that system should look like? What should be the features of that system? What makes that system efficient? Okay. इतना समझ में आया? Fine. So you can see that these people had certain assumptions regarding overall understanding of human being, overall understanding of what an organization should be, what should be the philosophy which should drive them. Now they developed all this. But could they develop this? Could they create this knowledge? Right? That is a question mark. Whatever knowledge they developed, that knowledge remained for few years, but very dominant. Anybody would love to have scientific knowledge. People will be inspired by these scholars because they believe that these are the scholars who have found the absolute knowledge. Right? So this process kept going on till 37.